This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast, where business leaders share their insights. It is 6 questions in 7 minutes because successful business leaders are busy and rarely have more time to spare. So let's get to it. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on the podcast. So my name's Logan Fields. I am the founder and creative director of The App Guys, and I help people build their mobile apps.
Question number 2. What's the best thing about working in your industry?
Everything is new all the time. So we're typically developing a mobile app or a web app often for startups, do a lot of startups. And so it could be anything from, some kind of fitness app to some kind of food delivery app. So it's always a new challenge, which is really refreshing.
Question number 3. I hear that other business leaders, that staying in a good work-life balance for them and their teams is a challenge. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that if you can control your schedule, you can control your job. That obviously becomes a lot easier. And having a home office as your main place of work also allows you to control things a lot easier. Just if you can learn to focus on the high impact things, then you're going to be able to you should be able to run a highly profitable business in less than 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like prioritization is an important aspect of that.
Yeah, for us anyway, it is for sure.
Perfect. So question number 4, what other successful business leaders like yourself should be on my podcast?
Yeah, let me think about that. Todd is, and I'm not going to try to butcher his last name. It's a longer Italian name. Todd is a marketing guru who cares a lot about the stuff you're talking about. He'd be a good fit. I'll have to introduce you.
Great. And question number 5, what insight or advice would you give to other business leaders?
So play the long game. Don't be so desperate to get everything now. Obviously you need enough to survive. I get it. But your strategy, how you build your company, how you spend your time needs to be built for the long-term results. If your schedule and your priorities are all about just getting a quick buck, you're putting yourself in a never-ending cycle, and you're always going to be in survival mode. Play the long game, make your strategies I'm speaking in generalities here, but you need to care about what is the lifetime value of your client, not just getting one sale. So what are the things that you can do to bring on a client and then make them worth more and more and more and more, so they're constantly spending with you, and they're also more likely to refer you because of how you treat them. And then that plays into just that doesn't technically go into an LTV, analysis, but it definitely affects the value of that client to you if they're referring other clients to you.
Mm-hmm. Very sound advice. And question number 6, tell me about your first job.
Oh, my first job. I was probably 10 years old. I grew up in an Air Force family, so I lived all over. I was living in Japan at the time, and I was a newspaper delivery boy for the base paper. And I would, get up at 5 a.m. or whatever and deliver papers on my rollerblades. I tripled the size of the route because I'd give people a free newspaper for a week or whatever, and then I'd go back to their door and be like, "Hey, you want to buy the Stars and Stripes? I got you covered." And I made some good money for a 10-year-old.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Logan, thank you for being on the show. How can people find you?
LoganFields.com.
Excellent. So this is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast. For more insights and ideas, please go to linkedin.com and search for Winning at Business and Life podcast. Thanks for listening.